I'm going to call the meeting to order. This is the Zoning Board of Appeals for Monday, March 2nd. And present at the meeting for the board, Mr. Kimball, Mr. Winnett, Mr. Travers, Mr. Keeman, Mr. Blas, and myself, John Goldrosen. Okay, our first case tonight is case number 1 for 16 Washington Street. Type of district, residence A2, type of structure, an existing 2-family to be turned into a proposed 4-family. Owner's name, 16 Washington Street, LLC. Owner's address, 681 Temple Street, Whitman. When did you acquire this property? October 3rd, 2025. His application filed with town clerk, yes. Has any previous appeal been made? No. Section of bylaw of which relief is requested, section 240-5.4A12, section 240-7.3 A, B, and C, and section 240-7.2 site plan approval. Reason for asking relief: applicant is seeking to convert an existing 2-family with an existing illegal 3rd unit into a 4-family unit building. Present building requires complete remodel due to age of structure and deterioration. The conversion into a 4-family does not increase the overall footprint. The outside requires new siding, windows, doors, with the inside completely remodeled. This case was advertised in the Whitman Hanson, not the Whitman Hanson Express anymore. It was advertised in the Enterprise on February 5th and February 12th. And sitting on the case will be Mr. Kimball, Mr. Winnett, Mr. Keeman, Mr. Blas, and myself, John Goldrosen. I neglected to announce this meeting is being tape recorded. By virtue of town bylaw, the tape recording is posted on the Whitman Hanson Community Access website after the meeting. So anyone who is here for the purposes of, well, let me first have the abutters list read. Mr. Blas, would you read it?
Sure. This is the list of abutters on file with assessors as of 1 January 2026. Leon and Shirley Millette, Susan Cajon, 16 Washington Street, LLC, Jeffrey and Catherine Youngman, Danielle Christina Souza Duarte, Stephen Ford and Joy Ford, William Smith Jr., Pham and Kay Nguyen, Nguyen.
Okay, anyone who's present for this case, would you raise your right hand and take an oath so you can participate in the case? Do you solemnly swear to the evidence you shall give in this matter should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to let the applicant make a presentation, then we'll have questions from members of the town boards. I have a couple of letters, members of the zoning board. I have a couple of letters to read into the record from other town boards. And then we'll go out to the public for your comments and questions. So who's representing the applicant?
Kyle Gotti, CW Gotti Company, representing 16 Washington Street, LLC, Clay Carvello and Eduardo de Oliveira, trustees of the owners of the LLC, for property located at 16 Washington Street. The property is located on the westerly side of Washington Street, just north of the East Bridgewater, Whitman town line, and almost opposite Country Way. The existing dwelling on the property is an old farmhouse built, according to the assessor's records, at around 1800. And I would assume what was added onto at some time with a barn type structure. The house is presently, was a two-family at the time of the passing with a third unit that was not permitted. The building contains 13 rooms and 8 bedrooms. The property contains 21,278 square feet with 126 foot of frontage, which conforms to the A2 zoning requirement that the dwelling is in. The present owners have a demo permit and have been remodeling the outside of the house with windows, doors, and siding. The applicants wish to convert the inside to a 4-unit apartment that does not increase the footprint of the existing structure. The existing outside footprint will remain. The only thing that will change is the inside floor plans that were submitted. I don't know if you gave those to the other members, John?
I sent them out. I don't know
Okay.
who has copies, so
You, yeah, I did. Okay, great.
anybody need a copy of the floor plans?
The outside area will be reconfigured in front of the existing, where the existing driveway is, which will be repaved and allow, it presently probably contains 3 to 4 cars. It's going to increase by 5 spaces in front. A second access through the existing curb cut along the northerly property line, which abuts the Cohane property, which is next to the general store that's next door. We'll access that with additional parking, 5 spaces in the rear. The property to the rear is buffered by some quite larger trees, a partial stockade fence. Additional fencing is called for along the rear property line. Fencing along the northerly line and southerly line presently exists. A proposed dumpster will be added to the rear of the property as far away from the butters as possible. The rest of the area remain as green space. In the past, there was an access road that went around back abutting the Youngman property, which is going to be done away with. That access is no longer going to be there. Any questions the owners can address? But it was a home that was owned by Kenneth Bates from Riverton, Abington. He bought it back in 1981, I believe. He lived there quite a few years, and for some reason the house has been somewhat neglected over the past few years. It needs substantial upkeep.
Can someone, one of you, explain what the current layout of the 2 apartments is, and number of bedrooms and so forth, and how, I know we sort of have it on paper, but for the benefit of everybody, including members of the public, what the layout is going to be, where the doors are in relation to the parking and so forth. And can you introduce yourself for the benefit of the record and our tape recording?
So I'm Eduardo from 60 Washington Street, and we do have some layouts here. Basically, no size, but pretty much we remain the same layout on the front and the sides of the houses. So basically, right now we do have like separate entrances at the today. So basically, we're gonna keep those entrances. So the right side will be access to the 2 apartments, and on the left side here, here will be for the other 2. So basically, we'll see from the street 3 doors, and then we have the access door in the back for the decking, like for the second egress doors. And so the parking will be like he's saying on the front. It's already existing parking here. so we're not creating more parking space on this section in the front. And this one will be part for the other apartment, and consistent with the with 4 apartments, 2 with 2 bedroom and the 2 with 3 bedroom. And the size is also average, like one would be like 1,100 square feet, that one 1,000 square feet, that one like 700, almost 700, that one almost 600 square feet.
And how will people get from the rear parking lot to the building?
So basically here they have access to the deck. We're just gonna do like a walkway to this deck, and then they have access to the doors.
Okay.
And pretty much, I guess we had to do another walkway to come to this side, to want to come all the way here to the front. So basically, we can have something like here.
But then does the parking, so you got 2 separate parking lots, do you anticipate like that certain units will use certain parking?
Yeah, that's kind of the way I set it up. I mean, if you do look at his access to the back, there's a door, steps coming up, and an entryway into a unit here. There's also entryway to a unit over through there. And then on the front, there's a door at this corner for that unit, and then there's another entry door right here. So I basically kind of split up the parking.
So basically 2 of the units would be entered from the front parking lot and 2 from the back? Is that?
That's what I would anticipate, yeah.
Okay, okay, all right. All right, let me read a couple of letters into the record, and then we'll have questions from members of the board. From Whitman Fire Rescue and Emergency Services. At this time, Whitman Fire Rescue and Emergency Services has no objection to this proposal, provided all applicable fire and building codes are met. The related fire codes are 527 CMR 1, Fire Safety Code 2021 edition, NFPA 72, Fire Alarm Code 2019 edition, and NFPA 13R Residential Fire Sprinkler Code 2019 edition. Sincerely, Nicholas Grasso, Deputy Chief. From the Board of Health, the Whitman Board of Health has no objection to the petition of 16 Washington Street LLC for a variance from site plan approval from sections 240-5.4A12 and 240-7.3 A, B, and C, and site plan approval under section 240-7.2 to convert the existing 2-family dwelling into a 4-family dwelling proposed for the property located at 16 Washington Street. As the DPW billing records indicate, this property is connected to municipal sewer and water. Sincerely, Daniel Kelly, Health Agent and Board of Health. And Mr. Gotti, can you just review what the zoning relief is that's needed here? I'll make sure. So it needs variances from
Let me just bring it.
812.
Well, 240-54A12,
Yeah.
which is multi.
That multifamily apartment dwelling, because it's less than 87,000 square feet, so it needs a variance from that.
Correct.
And which zoning district is this in? It's in
It's in the A2.
A2,
Yeah.
okay. So it's not allowed in the A2 district, so it needs variances just to have it, and also the fact that it's less than 87,000 square feet. And then
Well-
7.2, site plan approval at 7.3 is, again, the minimum lot size, density, because it's not 6,000 square feet of lot area, and then the dimensional, yeah, because it's not 50 feet from the southerly lot line, at least, or for that matter, because it's, and how far is it set back from the street, Carl? So there's nothing shown on there.
Oh, I think it is 50 feet back. It wouldn't be 50 feet from one of the other property owners.
Yeah, from the south line.
Yeah, I mean, it's an existing structure.
Right.
It's not.
But it's existing as a two-family. And what about 15 feet from the parking area? Is it that far from the?
No, but yeah, but it is in here, and in here I've kept it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's less than 35 feet high. The building's less than 35 feet high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
All right. So it's just the.
it's a two-story building.
Yeah, so it's the side lot line is the dimensional relief that's needed, and then the density relief and the minimum lot size. Okay, just want that.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't, it doesn't conform as it presently sits for the 80.
Right. I just want to get that all in the record. Okay, let me go to the members of the board. Mr. Kimball?
You mentioned that there was a third unit in here. When was that put in?
When was it put in?
No record on it.
It was there when they bought it.
Purchased it?
Yeah, that's why I said it was illegal.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
they didn't put it in.
Oh, no, it was, no.
No,
They, all they've done is rip out stuff.
What, was it being used at the time you bought it?
Yes.
Yes, okay, I think that's important to know. Okay,
secondly, it's gonna require a complete sprinkler system, being a four-family.
Being for a family, I don't think so.
Well, I think so. NFPA
I don't
13.
know if did fire.
fire chief cited that provision in his letter.
Oh, he did, okay.
Yeah.
So it requires a complete sprinkler system with a sprinkler room, has to be inspected 4 times a year. It's a significant cost. It's not just a residential fire system. My concern is that we're putting a four-family into an area that's mostly single-family and two-family. That's all the comments I have at this time.
Mr. Burnett?
So I had a couple. When you look at the number of bedrooms, there's 9 bedrooms total. When you look at 24812 and you do the math, splitting hairs a little bit, and the total comes up to 9.2. I do 9.2, I don't know, but you know, do we round it up? Do we round down?
You have to round up.
Round up. So you probably need to add 1 additional parking space.
So I have 10.
He has 10.
I have 10.
Okay.
There's one space on the south side.
So there's one here.
Oh, that's the one space, holy shit. Okay, good. Nice, perfect. The other question I had is, what's the distance between the 2 driveways? And is that a fresh curb cut that you need to do, or is that existing?
It's the existing curb cut.
What's the distance
Oh,
between, what's the distance between?
Between these,
10
around 80 feet. That's around 65 feet.
That's good. Would you be willing to, I was looking at the drawings, I found it a little hard to figure out, what's the access
Jim?
into the building?
Excuse me, but Tim's not, I can't hear them. Yeah.
Would you be willing to walk through access to each of the units? It was a little confusing on the drawings for me. Because there's 3 doors that are on the first floor, not 2.
It's on the front. This has access to here. This has access also in here.
Can you do it on the side? First, I'd ask you to do it on the diagram so everybody here can understand it. Also, can you state it in terms of, the left side or the right side again, so I get it on the tape recorder? Our secretary's not here tonight, so I want to make sure she can figure out when she's making minutes what you have.
There's a door here.
In
In here.
Yeah.
So So you can
I see.
adjust the front and the back.
Yeah, to go up. So based on the front, we have a door here, and an existing door.
So the left-hand corner, if we're
On
facing.
the right side, looking from the street to be on the left side. On
Yeah,
the-
that's
on
it,
the
yeah,
door.
okay.
And then we have another one right in the middle of the building that was already existing. And another one on the right side looking from the street where it was a little deck. We propose to close that and make another entry door. So the 1, 2, 3 on the front.
Okay,
And then on the back, we do have 4. So basically this one here that you go in, you have another split doors inside. So it'll be 1, 2 here, 3, 4. And in the back, we have all the doors, all 4 doors going out. So when you see from the street, you see 3 doors, because 1 door will lead you to 2 doors.
So on the one on the left side here, when I look at the drawings, is it going upstairs also to the second floor and the first floor?
Yes,
Yeah, right.
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for, is what is the access way to get from ground level to the first floor?
Yeah, it's
and
the same
second
door will
floor?
go up
Is there
and
shared
then,
entrance ways?
Yeah.
So it is shared entrance ways?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then on the elevation, when I did the new measurement, the elevation drawings didn't have elevation. It would be nice to have that depicted on the drawings, but when I did a measurement, it came out at 20 feet peak. Does that sound right?
So 20 feet to what, the peak of the,
The peak of the house,
I think it's a little bit more than 20 feet, but
I think, no, it's about.
I didn't use your calculator.
Yeah.
Okay, I did drive by today and I did want to mention that it looks way better than what was there. Just
Thank you.
no more questions.
Mr. Travis, although you're not sitting on the case, would you have a question?
Just following up on what Mr. Kimball said, that would come under Mass General Laws, Chapter 148, Section 26I, which was adopted by the town in 1991. That's just been recorded.
1991.
So it does need to be sprinkled?
Yeah.
Okay.
It might,
If it's 3 families, does it need to be sprinkled?
no.
So that's a consideration for you. Okay, anything else? Anything else, Mr. Travis?
No.
Mr. Seaman?
I have no questions at this time.
Mr. Claus?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm trying to get a better understanding of the existing layout and the alterations that are being proposed. So if I have it right, currently the first floor is a 5-bedroom and the second floor is a 4-bedroom, 2 units. And if so, where's this third unit?
The third unit is on this left side here. That's the whole complete right now, is right here. And the first and second, like this section here, like the L shape. So basically 1, 2 here, and the third using the 2 floors right now. On the left.
Where is
That's
the,
sort of barn?
where's
Yeah, the
the,
barn, yeah.
Okay.
where's the second, I see there's a kitchen. Okay, now I guess I'm getting on the first floor. There's a kitchen and living in the front section, and then the kitchen is in the middle section for the second unit.
Yeah.
And so you want to split the 5-bedroom into, so the first floor would be a 3 and a 2,
Yeah,
and second floor would be also a 3 and a 2.
yes.
The square footage, I heard some approximate sizes, and I think I heard a pair of 1100s for the 3-bedroom, and then a 7.
The first unit will be 1,055, The other one will be 1,155. The other one will be 673 and 566.
5 what?
66.
566.
673 for the two, and 740 the one. 1155.
566 is the front. What's our minimum? Isn't it 600?
600 for the primary, 400 for the secondary and a two-family.
Okay, all right. All right, generally, I'm thinking that it's a 4 unit's too much for this property, but it seems like it's almost too much for a 3-family. We're short on, even if we disregard the 87,000 square feet requirement, and I'm certainly amenable to that, we're under by over 2,000 square feet on 6,000 per unit on the total square footage. I looked as best I could at the, like Google Earth and maps and things like that. Will any trees have to be taken out for this proposed parking area?
No.
And what kind of condition is the rear of the lot in? Including what kind of the vinyl stockade fence? What kind of condition is that fence in?
Oh, wait a minute, I have some, well, you can. I had a couple of ideas.
Oh, was that said? V-I-N-I-L?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, vinyl.
Vinyl. I didn't want to sound stupid, not knowing what a vinyl fence was.
Oh, yeah, okay. If you're standing in this, where this driveway is right now, you're looking, say, out here, you can see these trees out here, you can see that there's a section, an existing section of fence that comes down here, which is that fence there. We're proposing fencing along the entire path. You can see there is a stockade fence that comes down the side now.
And who owns that stockade fence?
That's on their property. And it wraps around 2 sections there. And then on the other,
Those are mine.
oh, I'm sorry.
I think all the fences around need to be replaced.
Say that again?
Especially the fence in the back need to be replaced.
Well, that's what he said,
Yeah.
Mr. Gardner said that a vinyl fence would, vinyl fence.
This would be on the southerly side of the property. We're
Some of that, okay.
looking at the door to the building that's on the left corner. This is the property. This is 26. So this is there. Well, that would be their house.
I don't think I have any other questions. Thank you.
Okay. So currently, the proposed would have a total of 10 bedrooms, all told in the entire house.
Correct.
And in the existing, you've got a 5 and a 3, so that's 8.
5 and 4.
5 and a 4, it's 9. And how many bedrooms were in the illegal unit that was being used?
The illegal one was 2, right?
2 or 3,
Okay.
either 2
So-
or 3.
You know, that makes me a little more favorably inclined to this, and it's not really increasing the number of bedrooms, although it's increasing the number of units. Granted, the 3rd unit was illegal, but nonetheless, in terms of, you know, how much additional impact, I like the fact that you're putting some parking behind and not trying to just have it all out in the street. And that basically joins the convenience store property in terms of, you know, a visual impact from that. So, yeah, I do know, just over the East Bridgewater line, there's a couple of 4-bedroom townhouses. And I'm glad you're trying to preserve this property in this house rather than knocking it down and proposing something else. So that's, to me, something else in its favor.
John, could I add one thing if you're done? I don't know if the board should remember the house that we did down on Perry Ave.
Oh, yeah.
That was run down. And, this is, what we said we were gonna do at that hearing, we've done, on this, what, the front of the building looked like, how he, landscaped it. We had that hearing, I think, for 2 nights.
Yeah.
Because one of the abutters across the street was probably worried about additional traffic and stuff. And once again, we split the.
Again, I think the appearance of the parking was an issue in that case.
Yeah, and we did something similar there. We had parking on the right side. We had a drive that went down and put parking out behind. The inside of that structure was similar to this, was all, you turn the page, was all run down, and what he did inside, updating the back deck, the electrical, the bathrooms, and the kitchen area. That's what the final outcome of that was. So, I mean, they not just coming in here to do some lobbying. You've seen what they've done before, and that's what they'll do on this project. Those people were against the project, but after the project was complete, they realized that on that particular case, it increased the value of their homes based on what you did with that house.
All right, let me go out to the public. I know we have a couple of abutters here.
Can I make one comment?
Yep.
One more question. On the parking, would you consider, 1, 2, 3, adding a 6th parking spot to the proposed area and not deleting, actually moving this one space in the front here and putting it back here?
Yeah, the one that's on the south side that kind of sticks out as an appendage.
Yeah, that's an existing paved one now, so I just left it. But what would you like me to do?
Put it back here?
Yeah,
It just,
yeah. Yeah.
And then what we, Mr. Blas, would you propose
grass.
putting grass there in the place of the existing pavement for that one space, just to create a little.
Yeah, there's
little more.
basically there's I don't know if you can see it in there. Can you see it in the street? You would if it wasn't 2 feet of snow there. There was a retaining wall here where it kind of went out back at one time, so they were parking in there. But you can see that is kind of the pavement that goes up to the retaining wall.
Yeah, I'd just like to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good change.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, members of the public, if you'd like to speak, would you raise your hand, give us your name and address, and we answer your questions? Yes, ma'am.
Kathy Young, 6 Washington Street.
Yeah? So you're to the south side, the left of the property.
South side. So I just have a few concerns about the number of families that are going to be moving in next door to us, and the noise. And is there a plan to put in a fence in the back, because my fence is being pushed over by a tree, so it's mostly like that. It's my tree, so there's, I have to deal with that on my own, but I kind of don't want to look at a parking lot in my backyard. And I'm concerned about the trash situation, like, is there going to be a dumpster next to my
Good question.
driveway?
Yeah, there's a dumpster on the right-hand side over there.
I don't.
But it's on this one.
Yeah, it was added to that.
Oh, okay.
I gave it to the other members, John, before you walked in, so I didn't tell them.
Okay.
There's an update.
I have one of those, so we get that reference in the record to the,
There's a new date on that, John.
that's what I want to get that in the record.
2/16/26.
Okay, thank you.
When you say the rear of your, do you mean the side of your property? Or
Yeah, the side of our property.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we have no problem. She's asking about, when she's here, the river, I mean, I think she's talking about this area here.
Yeah.
That, and I think,
The fence is there is her fence on that side, right? So are you proposing to put a fence on?
well, this is the property line we're talking about where all these trees are. That's her present fence. As far as her seeing the back parking lot, I guess we could put a fence from the back of the house to the back property line.
So extend your vinyl fence, go around the corner,
Yeah.
up
So-
to their fence.
So, I mean, you can, yeah, sure. So what I'm saying is, if you're concerned about seeing that rear parking area, or they,
Right, so our fence is coming down,
yeah,
and I'm concerned about the parking lot adjacent to my backyard.
okay, so the one that's gonna be behind their house.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but we also have a fence in the front part.
She's saying you want a fence in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So along the,
From,
shielding the view of the rear parking lot from her house. Okay, so we could ask them, and can you do that without knocking down the trees then? Do the trees extend that far back? Doesn't look
yeah,
like.
but it could, we might have to keep it 4 or 5 feet onto our property, that's all.
Okay, yeah, because that's just vacant land there. Okay, that's a good suggestion. Okay. Anything, any other?
And sorry, Clayton Carvalho here. So as far as like, we very restrict with who we rent it to, and we like to keep it, if we see everything's on a contract, you know, about parties or anything that's on noise and all that stuff. And usually we don't have like the ones we own at, on 34 Perry, we never have any complaints for that, you know, so that's, because that's how we usually try to rent to people that we know too. We have business in town, so we know a lot of people, and usually that's how we operate, you know.
But, you know, to be fair, this permit is permanent. Anything we approve is permanent. You could sell the property tomorrow. And
Yeah,
we
and
have
just
no
for
guarantee
the
for
question
future
that
owners.
she asked.
But I think, has there been problems with the existing rentals? I assume these were
No,
rentals?
they didn't rent.
They didn't rent it, they just had.
It was
Yeah,
Pat and Larry and their daughter and her kids.
it was always just a two-family home, you know,
But it
as
was-
far as living, it wasn't
Okay.
three units.
So I guess I'd say
One
that-
family used
Yeah.
the two.
If they were to simply fix it up as it is, with, you know, a 5 and a, would you have a 5 and a 4?
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty. I think it might be less of an issue with 3-bedroom units and 2-bedroom units. It can vary, but
It's just,
Well,
I guess what I'm saying is
it's a
it's-
lot of density. I'm John Millett, neighbor, 54 Washington.
okay,
Street.
thank you.
My sister Susan Cohane owns the property right behind here.
Yes,
She couldn't be here today.
Okay.
One thing is your scheduling, and I
Yeah.
know there's a couple other neighbors that were concerned about this,
okay,
and they're dealing with family issues, and they didn't know the date for this evening.
yes,
So there's a few more that are concerned with this that aren't here. I guess it's the density and the transformation from being a one family with an in-law or a two-family being there versus the density of 4 tenants
mhm,
is concerning.
yeah.
And
Which I can understand. I guess I'd say you, it would, if they weren't here at all, it would wind up being a 2-family because it was laid out that way already, even if it wasn't being used that way.
so it was being used as a 2-family, but it was the same family.
Exactly. But, you know, so that's not going to continue anyway. So I think the choice here is between it being a 2-family with large number of bedrooms or a 4-family with smaller numbers and with more parking put in back, so it's not all parking in front. I guess that's a
John,
consideration.
there's another with the ADU requirements these days, I mean,
They could put a,
as a two-family, he could construct another
you could
dwelling in the
construct
back.
another dwelling in the back too, yeah.
And we're probably not here, it's a special permit.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, he automatically has 3 units today, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, there's nothing, you know,
Yeah,
so he's,
this is the accessory.
what he's doing now is he's keeping everything in here rather than adding an AUD out back or whatever.
So if you're not familiar, that's the accessory dwelling unit law, so you basically could stick an extra unit in any case, so.
Well, then he would definitely want a fence.
How,
I will point out,
And
there's a
and you can do
tree,
it next door too.
there's a tree along that, front gate where the driveway's gonna be, that's got, well, it's a terrible tree anyway, but it's got poison ivy wrapped around it, which, like, the vines as thick as my, so you might wanna have mine.
that probably means it's dying, right?
No.
No?
The poison ivy's not,
Oh,
the tree
well,
might be, but.
well, that's what I meant.
No,
No? Okay.
Keep people off the property.
What about in terms of the fencing at the front of, close to the street? They're not proposing to put a fence there because you've got the trees there.
Right, well, except for that really terrible tree with the poison ivy and the choke cherry, but our fence in the front is still standing.
Okay, so you're okay with that part?
It's like,
And as you
Actually,
heard,
we are decreasing that parking.
well, yeah, we're proposing to put grass in place of the existing paved parking space that's closest to your property line.
I'd say paved is a strong description of the parking area. I'm not,
it'd be easy to remove it.
it's pretty bad, but,
Well, good, it's easier to remove.
but it only ever held 3 cars, so it's
Okay.
that.
All right. And Mr. Millett, I mean, any other issues you can voice on behalf of the other neighbors, just to hear them? Soon, Kia Hain, is that,
Yes, as far as,
so her house is behind this and is accessed?
yes,
Off-
she's
off
on,
of Washington
she's on,
Street?
her lot's on the side,
Okay,
and on the back.
okay.
I showed you that picture, John, on that. I leave them there and I take them back, but the one that shows, you can hardly see the houses behind the trees.
Okay,
It's, well, you can kind of see that.
okay.
Well, I don't want to get into what, at one time this lot went all the way back here and Bates transferred to them a strip of property 30 feet wide in here at the time to build the house back there.
Okay.
And there was some property line dispute that I did a plan for, of course.
Let me just, any other issues that you wanted to raise? I think I understand the concern about, gee, it's gonna be 4 units rather than 2, and not really, rather than a single-family house. Any other particular, we're trying to make sure, like, we're putting fencing to shield property and so forth, if there's any other kind of site-related suggestions.
Right, well, I guess I was bringing to the attention of the notice of the meeting and
Yeah,
a few of the other neighbors, it's impacting them as well. That I'm here to voice
are
that.
they across the street, or where are they?
One's across the street and then one's in a butter, you know.
Well, across the street isn't a butter.
There are only two direct abutters on this property. And then you have the general store that sits in here, they kind of use this as a parking area because it's all in the same family as the store. And so they kind of use this as a parking area and through here for the store.
I do want to say, in terms, obviously, we didn't have much choice about postponing the meeting last week. I put a sign in the door in case anyone showed up saying we postponed it, and the new agenda did get posted for tonight, but it is a problem when something like that happens and you don't have an easy way to know who would have wanted to be here. So, yeah, I mean, I apologize for that, and that there wasn't much that could be done about it. I'm glad that you folks did find out and come, because that would have been.
There was a travel ban.
Yeah.
Nobody would have allowed
Yeah,
us
yeah,
out
yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Mr. Blas, you had another question?
Yeah, just a question for the applicant. This, the project you did, do you still own this,
Perry Ave.
the Perry Avenue?
Yes.
So you've maintained
Yes.
ownership of Perry
Yes.
Avenue? Okay, great. Thank you.
All right, anything else from any members of the public? Members of the board, anything further? What's the sense of the board?
I think the four family is too much. That's my opinion.
How would you propose to split it up to you want to keep it as a 5-4 two-family, or what would you propose?
I would say it's a two-family. In the area, we don't have multi-family houses, and and if you go with even a three-family would be better than a four-family. And if you go with a four-family, you got to put all the sprinklers in. That's a $50,000 job right there.
Yeah, I was gonna raise that, with a three-family, you would have to put sprinklers in, so that could be a consideration.
Yeah, we understand that.
Did you have sprinklers as part of your projected budget?
Yes, we thought it would be a possibility that we would need it to do it.
Let me just, before I close the hearing, I think I'd rather ask members of the board what they're.
Again, as far as like you guys mentioned earlier, we could do it here in the back, and we have more rooms. Could be a bunch of more people, anyways, that we could be renting to it as rooms or whatever. But we're trying to do it the best way possible, so it doesn't create any of that issue, by doing that way, keeping it the same as it is as far as rooms, not adding anything more than what it is. There is enough space for the park and everything. That's why I thought that would be a good case.
I think having it a full family does put a little more stress on the neighborhood, but sort of the saving grace for me is the footprint staying the same. So you're not encroaching on any, setbacks. The structure is gonna look a lot better than what's been there. I know I went by it tonight.
Definitely.
So that in itself will help add a little more character and with property values in the neighborhood as well. I know maybe that isn't necessarily a concern. And I think having the driveway with a lot of the parking spaces on the side that the store is at is gonna help, at least with traffic, especially on your side of the property as well too. So four family, not necessarily ideal, but I think that, you've done a good job to try to mitigate impact to the neighborhood.
I think the only problem too is with the four family, there's no real way to make one floor, one unit.
Yeah.
To make it a three family.
A three family, yeah.
We would sort of have to have, like, the first floor be one unit and then two units on the top, essentially, which would, if you did that, what would the first floor, how many bedrooms would be in the first floor? Five is what the existing, so that you would be talking about a 5 and a 3 and a 2, something like 5, 2, 2, something like that.
Just the layout doesn't work well for that either.
No.
Yeah.
That's why they're not doing something there without
Okay. So Mr. Kima, would you be inclined to approve the 4? Okay, Mr. Blossom?
Yeah, as I had said earlier, it's bigger than a 3. A little tight on 4, but if someone proposed this as a 4 unit, and it was going to be laid out like this, I would kind of say, oh, that's unusual, and it seems doable. I agree with Mr. Winnett, the fact that the applicant wants to keep the existing structure and really create a brand new house from an existing set of bones. Oh, is there a basement?
Yes,
And what's the plan for the basement?
just gonna do what we have to do to keep it clean.
Well, is it a full height basement?
Yes.
I mean, if the building was built in 1800, which is what
It's
I
a lot of,
heard,
it's a lot of field stone and
Yeah.
big block. It's not
of course, it's
a
not
livable area.
But is it a
Hot water heaters and
Yeah.
Is it a 6-foot ceiling, 6.5 foot ceiling down there? Or is it a crawl space? A lot of
No,
those
it's not
houses.
a crawl space, you
Or-
can walk in
I
there.
think it's 6.5 probably.
It is that
sure.
big. And is it,
you have
has,
to take your hat off if you go in there.
right, has the floor been poured down there?
One part are poor, the other part has like some spot, look like there was like, let's say when the house was sagging, they did the concrete here, they did the concrete there, so it's kind of like all over the place. It's not
Do
like,
you plan on pouring a floor in there?
No.
No.
no, we gotta fix whatever we gotta fix to keep the structure,
Uh-huh.
you know, installing and all that.
So will you be pulling out boilers and putting in those mini splits into this unit, or are you gonna keep boilers?
We're planning to put a mini split, like, in certain areas, so that depends how the dock work's gonna work after we restructure the frame. And then if there's a lot of work to do it, we'll go with the mini split, because it's easy to access.
But you'll keep the boilers, is that what you're saying? So is it oil or water now? Oil or gas?
Nothing there is like functional. They have like some part was electric, some part was oil. It was like very old.
We're not keeping oil. It's gonna be.
You're not keeping the oil,
No.
so it's gonna get cleaned out the basement.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just gonna be storage.
Yeah, gotta clean
Yes.
out, make storage, and all the electric has to be complete redone.
Sure.
All the
Yeah.
plumbing has to be complete redone. And the HVAC insulation,
Yeah.
and we brought the permit with the building department, there are a lot of things that we gotta bring up to code.
Sure.
So basically, we are spending good amount of money there. And as you guys drove by, you guys saw outside, and we wanna keep nice and clean, like the fence, we can work with the fence, work with the trees. And I think at the end of the day, when you drive by there, the house kind of blends with the neighbors. Because before it was like a house falling apart, now it's like this presentable for the neighbors.
Just one last question. So, you want your proposal is 2 3-bedroom and 2 2-bedroom.
Yes.
So, where are you putting the extra bedroom? Or, I mean, it just seems to me, so you've got, right now on the first floor, you've got 5 bedrooms. So if you go 3 and 2 on the first floor, and keep it basically the same number of bedrooms, same basic layout, except they're splitting it into 2 units. Then on the second floor, right now you've got 4 bedrooms. So if you split that, you get 2 and 2. Where's the third bedroom being put in? Is it better to just be a 1 3-bedroom and 3 2-bedrooms?
Very hard to explain to you, but like between this section here, actually, the barn in here, like there was actually spaces here. It wasn't being used the right way. So basically, when we look, the layout here is enough to put 2 and 2 and 3 and 3, because we're gonna change the stairs that's there right now is like it's not comparable to the.
So you're able to take the third floor and create additional space based by.
Based by the
just by
footprint that
the
we had,
footprint,
yeah,
okay.
because the way the stairs was made, like, on the, whatever, how long ago, it's right in the middle of the house, so we gotta take that down, gotta do new stairs on the side. So we created way more space, it was just like, it was a bunch of closets that like, I don't know, leaked to nothing, and, so basically we cleaned all that stuff out, and it had enough space to do it.
Okay, all
We done it.
right, I'm good.
So you'd be okay with?
I'm okay with it.
Okay, so I think, I wanted to make sure, what the voting is likely before I close the hearing. So I'm gonna close the hearing, I would entertain a motion to approve the requested variances, and here are the conditions that I'd like to see, some which we discussed. First of all, the basement is not to be, we are approving, as shown on the plan, 2 3-bedroom, 2 2-bedroom units. There is not to be any additional living space created out of the basement, which doesn't sound practical anyway. I would also want a condition that an ADU cannot be placed on this property,
I agree.
which I think is, an appropriate conditions is for giving the variances. And as we've discussed, the single parking space that's shown at the southern end of the property is to be eliminated, grass put there, and the proposed parking area at the rear of the property is to be increased from 5 spaces to 6 spaces. And the fence that's shown along the rear of the property is to be extended along the south side of the property a sufficient distance to shield the property at 6 Washington Street from a view of the proposed rear parking area on this property.
Basically from the rear corner of the existing building,
Yeah,
rear property line?
yeah, I think that would be about right.
Okay.
Excuse me, talking fences?
Yeah,
Well, on the rear of the property is, that house behind me is very close. It's within 10 feet of, 10, 15 feet to the property line. So, I mean, there should be fences there as well. if we put-
well, you're already proposing a fence along the rear of your property. So that's shown, that's already shown on the plan. So I'm just saying extend that along, but something that is not shown on the plan is to have fencing along the south side down to the corner of the house in your property to shield the parking area from the neighboring property. And it's to be sprinkled in accordance with the fire and any other requirements set by the fire chief are to be observed. Does that cover anything? Okay, so I'd entertain a motion to approve with those conditions.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Blas, is there a second? Second by Mr. Keenan. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor? 4, let me just state for the record, myself, Mr. Blas, Mr. Keenan, and Mr. Winnett in favor, opposed. Mr. Kimball is opposed. It's approved 4-1. Okay, thank you all for coming and participating.
I've got the tear sheet up, so that's the new one.
Will certainly improve the
And just for the record, for the sake of our recording secretary, there was a revised plan submitted dated February 16, 2025, and that's the plan that's being referred to in our decision.
As long as you have a file there.
The last time he said we don't have enough housing. He stepped away and we got too much.
He got it approved.
Wait,
We do it.
Yeah, we do.
See you, Joe.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Every document from that thing down here? Right done. Okay.
Good evening.
Come on up. Sorry, it took a little longer than we thought, but
I'm not sure if you had the opportunity to print these out, so I just made a copy.
okay, thank you.
That's what was emailed.
So we're going to be discussing 66 Pond Street. Is everybody here for that? Okay.
Thank you.
So, next on the agenda is a discussion on 66 Pond Street. So again, for the record, we don't have any, no application has yet been submitted for this property to the board, but the owners and their representatives asked to meet with us for an informal discussion. And we don't do this all that often, but we do it sometime in larger projects, so we don't have somebody kind of going down one road and then find that there was significant issues that could have been addressed earlier on. One reason I'm hesitant to hold these kinds of discussions on a lot of projects is that when we ultimately have a full application and a public hearing, abutters who haven't been, this meeting was obviously an open meeting, and this item is on the agenda, so we've met the requirements of the open meeting law, but we haven't notified abutters as we would for a full application. And we don't want a situation where the night of a hearing on an application, the abutters come in and feel like we already struck a deal or made a decision on the project. Conversely, we may, say some things tonight that sound favorable, and you may come in with an application, we may change our minds. So I also don't like to mislead an applicant, but by making them think that we're giving them approval. But I think there's a kind of a useful issue spotting opportunity here to kind of give some feedback, say, here are the things that are likely to be issued when you come in and give you something more to address. So, with that being said, I'll turn it over to you, and just, again, for the sake of the record and our recording, introduce yourself and present it in whatever way you wish.
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity. I know it's late. My name is Ron Burke. I'm a project architect, and I'm also a partner in Integrity Modular Design Construction. We're a prefab manufacturer. One of our intents is to look at this as a prefab project. So if you look at the package that you have, the site at 66 Pond Street is currently an industrial site that's looks like it's been abandoned for quite a while. There is a road that runs through it from South Ave through to Essex Street. The lot itself is about 7.8 acres, 342,000 square feet. Of that, if you look at the second sheet that shows there's a wetlands buffer of 100 feet, and there's also a no-build zone that we show on our site plan, the architectural site plan.
Is the you're putting the no-build zone, or is that required?
It was on the plans that we were given, so we're avoiding it.
Okay.
And it's going to be surface parking lot.
That's for an environmental.
It's for environmental, that's correct.
It is for environment.
And I'll just throw out the question as it comes to us here. Is there an AUL on that, an activity use limitation with DEP
Yes.
on it?
Well, it has been cleaned quite a bit, so with time it will get clear, but so we just decided instead of going through really cleaning it, if we make it as an open parking.
Right, but have you actually been dealing with DEP and have they
Yes.
said that's what you need to do on that property? Okay.
Right, so
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Could you introduce, are you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Why don't you introduce everybody?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. All right.
I and my husband, Shaker Mehta, we are the owners for Sammy and Tara Realty Trust. And
Well, Gilmar, why don't you
With Spurgeon Engineering, the civil engineer.
So he's our civil engineer.
Okay.
Scott.
Scott Dennett, part of Integrity Modular.
Okay,
And I'm just the real estate professional, if there's any questions about, you know, impact to the area or what, and I work with Artie and Veronica.
and I wanted to just let everybody who knows here,
Oh, Don Byers, I'm
Don.
a resident, just
Yeah.
here.
just here, and Jason.
Jason DeRozier, resident at 51 Joyce Ave. I'm also the senior planner for housing and public engagement with the Old Colony Plan Council.
Okay, good.
Great. So our plan is for 157 two-bedroom apartments of 963 square feet, I'm sorry, 938 square feet each. We have 167 surface parking spaces. We have the opportunity to potentially put some in the basement if we needed to balance that out a little more. Currently, we're looking at really four structures, and 3 of them will be joined with a common lobby and amenity spaces, the fitness centers, the theater, you know, the things that kind of residents expect now in a higher end development. We're directly across the street from the MBTA, so we fall into the MBTA Act. And if you look at this, I guess the third page, this shows you sort of the road system. So as you can see from left to right, we come down the existing drive lane that's there. And what we've done is we've situated the buildings so that they fall outside of the wetlands and the no-build zone, but they also create a natural curve that alleviates any heavy, high velocity traffic going through. They're forced to slow down and make that turn. And as they make that turn, that's where our lobby is in the front entrance and leads to a larger parking lot. So it's sort of a natural way to be able to control the traffic flow without having speed bumps and things like that. The other 2 pages following show the second floor and roof plan. These are 4-story buildings, so they're wood frame. We can go up to 4 stories with wood frame. They'll be modular, so essentially what we do is we build them in our factory in Worcester. We bring them in, we would use that parking area as a staging site, and the units are basically 100% complete when they get there, the boxes themselves. And then we put the siding on, finish the other side, put some utilities in, and then we're complete. So we have a significant savings in schedule and also disruption. We bring these modules in at night so that we can stay off the roads during the day and we don't have to deal with the heavy traffic. They're all electric buildings, no fossil fuels. And, they're set back from the water so that they do give a nice background if you're on the other side of the pond. And allows us to kind of massage that shoreline a little and clean it up and potentially continue the walking paths. Our recreation area is right in that area. So there are a few renderings. One is the existing aerial site plan. So you can see there's a couple of large buildings which are not in use. There is some storage. In the upper right, you see the adjacent property that's also in that no-build zone. And then the first rendering is an aerial perspective. And on the lower right, you'll see the existing view that it's replacing. Our next view is as if you're coming off of South Ave and entering into the site. Most, if not all, the units have either a balcony or a patio, so there is exterior space. Well landscaped, well lit, so it really does create its own community. And the next view is, I actually have a flyby I'm going to show you on the screen, because the lobby that is shown there wasn't developed at that time, so it's a little more developed. So I'd like to show you that after we go through this. So this will give you a better view of the site. And what I'll do is I'll play it and walk around. It's a short video.
Pretty neat, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing what they can do now.
Yeah. That's the office. The kind of pole that's what.
That would be the entry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what I've got shown just sort of as a nondescript walk.
So there's gonna be common areas in the building?
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a fitness center, right?
Well, we're looking at potential for a fitness center that would be open to the public as well as the residents at a reduced rate. Work offices and just all the things that people want now. In-house theater. So here you can see a better view of that entrance. We can call it. Play it again.
So are you proposing to, okay, you guys are the builders, really, you construction.
Yeah.
You build. Are you gonna maintain ownership?
Yes,
You're gonna keep it, so
So
you'll be
these
the
would be,
property
these would
manager?
be rental units then?
yes.
Okay.
I see.
And they're well appointed, 2-bedroom units, 936 square feet.
Are you planning to, along the pond, what are your thoughts on the, that, I guess you call it the shoreline?
I'd love to activate it. I'd love to get it cleaned up.
Right, well, I mean, I can't imagine building something like this and not doing a substantial amount of rehabilitation to, the edge of the pond.
Yeah, we're not at the point where we actually understand what everything is there,
Yeah.
right? So, no, but it is a great opportunity, and having our recreation space there, right in front of it, and tie the two together.
I'm gonna have to just stop this at one point, so just be ready. Because I did view this when you sent it.
Okay.
Okay, stop it there. So, I mean, one issue I'd point out to you is this, and I think it was building 2 maybe on the plan, but that you got 2 buildings here, the 2 rear buildings, people's balconies like,
Yeah,
I know how far apart they are, can't be very far.
they're about 20 feet apart,
I'm thinking, and I think.
and
you got balconies.
they're offset.
Yeah.
So,
Frankly, I looked at that and I thought to myself of New York tenements with
Yeah.
clotheslines strung across the opening.
Yeah.
I think you got to think of somewhere.
yeah, no,
Spread
good point.
that out better.
Good point. That fits inside of that envelope that we have to work with. But I take your point.
Yeah.
What is your expected timeline on it?
Well, after getting the approvals, we'd like to be into construction in late summer. At least for the site.
Okay, so this is kind of a fast track. I'm just wondering how this would fit into the 40R plan.
We talked about the zoning. So first of all, I assume you're coming in under the MBTA district zoning. So I didn't bother looking at what you're proposing, comparing it to the requirements. But I'm thinking the parking you must be requiring more parking than, isn't it like 1.5 spaces?
Yeah, which means 2.
Well, I'm not sure, but I think it might be 1.5 spaces per unit. Jason, did you look at the MBTA communities? I've got it here.
I've looked at some.
I guess I'm just asking, have you got?
Yeah, no, well, I mean,
at the
many
requirements?
towns like you provide bike parking, right? So you start to get some credits back. And, no, we do need to do the evaluation.
All right, so you haven't done that yet?
No.
Okay, I just want that on the record, that,
That's why I mentioned that we could potentially do some underground parking in the building.
Yeah.
Probably would be necessary.
Yeah, I don't think, I don't think my recollection from the requirement was 1.5 spaces per unit.
Yeah, some towns go to 1.25, but if you have,
I mean, we have the bylaws, so you're just gonna
yeah,
have to look at
compensated
it.
features,
Yeah.
yeah. So we will look at the MBTA and your zoning.
And again, I don't recall what we have in there for setbacks or percentage of open space and so forth, but
I don't think we'll have any problem hitting any of that because we're kind of locked in with the wetlands and the no build zone.
no builds on, yeah. All right, you want me to just go down the line and it'll be somewhat organized. Mr. Kimball, why don't you go ahead?
You're gonna come in off Pond Street,
We're coming in both directions.
both directions. Are we gonna do anything with Pond Street? It's kind of a Mickey Mouse thing when we go out to South Ave.
It's very narrow, it's only about
Yeah, I
20 feet wide.
Yeah, I think we're in the very beginning of the stages for engineering. So this was really a test fit to see what the potential
So
would be.
again,
It sort of float
Issue
down.
spotting, that's gonna be a big issue. Issue spotting, I
Yeah,
think that'd
issue
be a big
spotting,
issue. I don't know if anyone else on the board, we had some preliminary discussions a couple of years ago,
Yes.
just,
So that time we were proposing a much higher because we were trying to do,
Right. But I know at that time I raised the issue, and we had a meeting just,
I know,
done for
for
the
public,
record with
you know,
myself, Bob Cullen, who was building inspector.
correct.
The previous town manager, I think one of the selectmen was there. We just had an informal meeting. And one of the key issues was the access. And there was even a question about whether Industrial Way was public or private and what your rights were to use it.
So it's still, we've tried to do a lot of research on that. And it's the way it is, nobody's giving tax on that.
No one is given what?
No taxes are being given on that industrial way. It actually belonged to not the owner before me, or I think 3 owners before. He divided this whole property.
Okay.
And apparently that land is still owned by him. And we went to the town, we went through all the records, and
There's no record of the town accepting it as a public way?
No.
Okay.
so it's up in the air.
Yeah.
So it doesn't belong to us, it doesn't belong to them.
Yeah, well, it
It's-
wouldn't matter who actually owns the roadway, it would be a question of what rights the property owners along the roadway have. Do you have rights to use it for this kind of development as opposed to an industrial development?
Right, so, you know, we are interested in taking over that.
Yeah.
And paying the taxes for it.
So, I mean, the reason I raised it at that time too was my feeling was
Right.
it was better to have the primary entrance to this development be from Industrial Way and
Way.
Essex Street.
Correct.
Both it would mean less traffic out, less of an
there.
issue. Let Pond Street be sort
And
of
that's
an
what we
emergency.
were initially proposing.
Yeah,
I remember that. And so the industrial way, it's a much wider
Yeah.
entrance too. So, you know, that's exactly what we would like.
Yeah.
But, you know, a part of it is owned by us, but it's not owned from the main thing to us.
yeah. So anyway,
And nobody owns it.
the
at the
access is a key issue, which is going to be primary, which is secondary. Certainly you'd want, maybe, even if Industrial Way was a primary access, you would want a walkway, a sidewalk or something along Pond Street down to the train station.
Correct.
That's-
Yeah.
Exactly, that's what, because there's another building there, I don't know if you guys know, the furniture.
Yeah, what's its H, what's an H?
Yeah.
Hatfield.
Hatfield, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
the flip side of the coin, industrial way, you've got heavy equipment coming down.
Yeah, I mean, that's-
Okay, so that's just gonna increase the traffic and potential risks
Yeah,
too,
I
where
mean,
Pond
you're-
Street's not being used.
you,
Correct.
the neighborhood is an issue. And
Well, all
not like all residential building neighborhood, but
the
not a
abutters are
different
all
kind of issue.
commercial.
But
Right
sounds
now,
like
all
it's
our
something
abutters are
But,
commercial.
But I just think if I were living there, I'd be thinking mostly, I want to get out to Essex Street to get wherever I want to go. Frankly, even if I was go into a train station, I might go to the Abington one rather than the Whitman one. So,
Cheap parking.
cheaper parking, right.
Well, the idea is they could walk to it from here, so.
Yeah, no.
So
if
that's,
you
we're
want
gonna
to-
activate that edge as far as like a green edge
Yeah.
leading to the train station. So that for people who do live there with the intent, that we live in there because of the train.
Yeah. you
But
want
I
it to be
think the
attractive.
fire people needed they preferred an access both ways.
Yeah, oh, you definitely want to have both. Okay, Mr. Kimball, I interrupted you.
No, that's okay. On the rendering here, it looks like we've got a green space on top of the building.
What I have is two roof gardens, one that's over the front entrance and one that's tucked in on the third level.
Oh, it's on the
For
first.
residents, yeah, it's not on the roof itself, it's one level down.
Oh, okay, because I was thinking about height-wise.
Yeah, no,
Living
it's,
on
it's,
height,
yeah,
height-wise. And you mentioned something about the potential for a gym in office space. Would
well,
this
the office space would be,
be for the development itself?
the offices for the development, but also for the residents, you could have a touchdown space.
Oh,
You know, a place where you can Zoom call or things like that.
so it's not gonna be,
No, it's not a office to be rented out to.
right,
To a
okay,
company.
it's just.
Yeah, it's just all residential, yeah.
And this isn't a 40B or anything, it's a straight up
Right.
development.
Correct.
And
But
it's-
again, in our MBTA district, we do have an affordable housing requirement.
Right. So that's something Ari and I.
Yeah, I think it's 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No further questions,
Okay,
thank
Mr.
you.
Winter?
I have to tell you, so I grew up sort of in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what I was gonna expect to see. And that used to be Crown Container back in the day.
Right.
I also used to produce paper rolls and, so whatever, I got stories about that sometime. But, I think it was great. I didn't have any expectations, so looking at the renderings, I was like, wow, that's pretty good. But I have a couple of questions. So one is I really appreciate the 100-foot buffer. I also serve on the Conservation Commission, so I really appreciate your diligence in maintaining that buffer zone. With respect to waterfront, going to the Hope's Pond, that would need to come in front of the Conservation Commission. If you notice when you come down Pond Street on the left-hand side after the upholstery place, there's a park there, it's called Little Comfort Park. And there's an existing pathway that goes along that side of the pond all the way up to Essex Street.
Right.
That needs to be maintained. We're currently looking at a rail trail, and that would be part of it as well too. So it'd play into your recreation.
Yeah, no, definitely, and that's, there are some stones or something, right, on the.
Yeah, right,
left side,
there's a
yeah.
bench.
Yeah, bench, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, there's a trail that goes all the way down.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a natural to want to clean up that and make it as part of,
Yeah.
the kind of the vision.
But again, it plays right into your recreational piece.
But I
as well,
know
too.
that there was some problem with the pond. There was some dam inside, which I don't know. The town was supposed to fix that.
With what?
The dam.
So the dam, we actually, forming a committee to look at replacing the dam.
Oh,
Not gonna be an easy thing, but it's on the docket.
right.
Yeah,
So that's what I remember.
Is
yeah,
that water control, so it's always the same level?
it is, yeah. So my question was a little bit around the 40B and whether or not, what the reason was why they went 4 floors versus adding a 5th floor.
Well, because with wood frame construction, if you go above 4 floors, you're into metal, you're into steel. And it's not a structural issue, it's a fire rating issue.
Yeah.
So you could do a plinth, you'll see 5-story buildings that are 4 stories for residential, but they'll have a fire rated assembly and maybe commercial below it.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to do 4 stories of wood frame.
Does it make any difference if you put an underground garage? Would you go steel anyways?
I may do a steel deck and then sit the modules, because what we do is our modules are 12 by 26. So the reason they're actually 11 foot 11, and the reason for that is if they're less than 12 feet, we can take them on the highways day and night with limited permitting. I'm not stuck in traffic at 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And what we do is we don't put the hallways in. All of our plumbing in the units goes to the hallway, and we stick build that in the field and put the second wall in, which is our rated wall. So nothing goes through our units, everything goes up through the middle of the building.
Okay.
So it's a very efficient system.
All right.
But as far as I could do water, I could do steel, I could do concrete, I could do metal, concrete plank if I wanted to separate my garage from my building. So it's really, it's economics as much as everything else.
Sure. Okay, great. And then as far as utilities go, electrical, underground?
Underground, yep.
Oh,
Everything
excellent. And then, so on the 100-foot buffer, so one thing I'm putting my conservation hat on, if you wouldn't mind. And I'd suggest, to be honest with you, that you come and talk to the conservation group as well too and present the plans. But you're outside mostly. The one thing I would ask is the dumpster that's located right here. It's within 100, just find a different
Oh,
location.
okay. Didn't pick that up. Okay. We'll probably have multiple ones anyway.
Yeah. But it looks good, and I noticed the Aston Martin.
Yay!
I don't know if anybody else noticed that.
We need the excise tax.
Yeah.
It's artistic license.
You go on 40B, you might want to take it off.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Well, thank you, Rico.
Mr. Travis?
I'm very excited. Looks very good compared to what's there now and what's been there. I had some questions on Pond Street and the extension that goes to this property. Is that all town-owned land up to where you folks own, or do you own that?
No.
No.
So we own it till that a little before that Hatfield.
Yep.
We own it before, and after that, I believe.
Where the park is? You
The
own
park-
from the park in?
Yeah, where the park ends, we own it.
Okay.
But beyond that, we don't own.
Because I could see that, I could envision that.
Actually, there is a lot on the left side, which was burned. And I believe, and there was some contamination too. Nothing has been done. Nobody paid taxes. But every time I go to the town to find out about that, I don't get anywhere. Nobody owns it, nobody pays tax. There is some owner, apparently, but has not paid tax in years and years. I've done all that research. We could have taken that land and it could be, parking for thing, but I don't know how to reach anybody. Or if the town hasn't gotten taxes in so many years, why was not put for a tax sale?
Well, the town's, if it's contaminated, the town is reluctant to take it over.
I know, and so is every.
Even though there are protections under the state environmental laws for
So basically,
towns that, take.
So basically, if I could take it over and just be parking, then it could be useful for the town to get tax as well as for us.
The town can't just give it to you, though, it has to.
No,
Well, they have to
that
take it
owner
tax
doesn't
title.
exist.
No, if the town got it, it could.
Couldn't they put it on tax?
They could put it, the town could take it for tax title, put it up for auction, you'd probably be the only ones bidding on it.
Right,
so-
exactly.
Yeah, but then you would take on any
The
potential
contamination,
environmental.
so we have to make a deal that, at that point is that,
Yeah,
okay, we
okay.
don't do any construction, we leave it open.
So where is that on the plans here, just so,
It's actually off the plan.
okay.
It's not,
We didn't go the full
well,
locality.
they didn't go, it's very close to the train not the station, but the train,
Tracks.
railroad
Okay.
on the left.
Oh, it's on that side, okay.
Yeah, we would go with the encapsulation of it. And then that would satisfy the.
So my point of bringing up Pond Street
Right,
as opposed to Industrial Way, if that's gonna be another entryway, I can envision that having to be wider. If there's gonna be, because right now there's really no two-way traffic there. It's not wide
well,
enough
there's
for two-way
nothing
traffic.
occupying our building, so that's, T&K uses it, and I think some
Correct.
government officials use that
Right.
to take the shorter cut.
Right.
But otherwise, nobody's using it. But, we are not proposing that the residents use that,
Okay.
but we want to open it for the fire trucks.
So it would be an emergency access.
Correct.
Okay. And the second thing was,
And also, we would have a walkway for people who want
Yes,
to walk to
yes, yeah.
You go to Regals.
sure,
Right.
right. And if If I was a fire department person, I'd have some issue with fire department access on building 2.
And that's one where I said it's too close to,
This one?
Yeah, so there's, you can get aerial devices in here.
Well, what I do here is we're gonna do some hard surfaces in here for the recreation space, will be drivable for all the way around. Yeah. And this meets a requirement for building separation.
Yeah.
I know that it's tight, and we can work on that certainly.
Okay.
But no, we could do it so that it's drivable geo-grid, so that a truck could make it around.
Okay.
And same with behind building, I think it's 1 or 4, this one here.
Yeah, building 4.
So that we continue that, all right.
Okay, that answers my questions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Keenan?
I think it's a nice idea. I like the fact that they're all 2 bedrooms. Don't have to worry about the school system being overcrowded, so all in all, it's a great idea.
Mr. Watts?
Question on the bedrooms. If we do, I mentioned the 40R that the town's pursuing. But on the 40R, doesn't that require some 3 bedrooms?
Yeah, I was going to introduce Jason and let him talk about possible relevance of 40R to this.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
So, are folks familiar with 40R zoning? It's a chapter 40R, the state zoning code. It's sort of allowable for multifamily housing, smart growth zoning districts. The town is currently pursuing 40R zoning. The choice was made to overlay 40R zoning with the MBTA communities zoning. So developers could essentially look at both overlays and determine which one sort of suits their needs. The town does benefit more from 40R than MBTA communities because there's zoning incentive payments that are made available to the town. The town would get $3,000 for every unit that's zoned for 40R. And then there's density bonus payments, so the town would get an additional $3,000 for every building permit that's pulled. I had to submit a preliminary eligibility determination application to EOHLC, Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities, essentially with the draft zoning bylaw, the zoning map, as well as some other information that they required, a big spreadsheet with number of units, developable land, excluded land, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Through that process, it was never raised to me until somewhat the last minute that the town does not receive zoning incentive payments for any unit that's covered by MBTA communities, which is a big part of the so we're working through that now. And so because it's a big issue, and something I would have appreciated.
We get penalized for having done the MBTA zoning in the right place.
And I was told that this is a gray area. A lot of towns are pursuing 40R and MBTA communities within the same area. And the state started to think about how to communicate that better so that towns don't do that. Long story short, that significantly reduces the zoning incentive payment because the town would only be eligible for zoning incentive payments for properties that aren't in the MBTA community district, which is largely Franklin, and maybe another one on South Ave. In addition, however, the town would get bonus density payments for units that are developed under the MBTA Communities Act. And so, long story short, the town has this essentially scheduled for spring town meeting in May. If it passes, it probably is still somewhat behind your development schedule. And so, no loss there because you don't get the zoning incentive payment credit for this building, but you would get the building permit.
But if you, and how soon is that, the text of that going to be publicly available? Like when you submit it, is it the selectmen meeting on March 10th?
Submit what for publicly available?
I'm just saying, if they want to see, it Is the
The
text,
zoning?
the text of the 40R is going to the selectmen on the 10th and.
So it's already been shared with the planning board. It was voted from the planning board at one of their last meetings to be moved to the select board, and at the last select board meeting, it was referred back to the planning board for them to schedule a hearing. It's also on the select board schedule, I believe, for the 10th. I will be at that meeting to answer any questions at the select board.
Anyway, so it's publicly available.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
you would want to look at both the MBTA and
And
this
40R.
and see how each
Is
of
it-
them
is the same
affect your
density
project
allowed
and which is
in
better.
40R?
I basically copied the use tables, the dimensional standards from MBTA communities to not
So,
overcomplicate.
yeah, so then we can go into also 40R instead of.
Yeah,
The problem with 40 hours, though, is you need 3 bedrooms.
you need some 3-bedroom units. The parking requirements are a bit different. The
Is it
affordability,
No less.
is there no affordability requirement in 40 hours?
It's 40
it's-
hours required.
It's the same as MBTA communities.
Okay, all right. So there'd be some wrinkles to it.
No, not exactly.
3 bedrooms not an issue, that's it.
So the affordability standard, I'm trying to redo the draft red line zoning bylaw. 40R is a little bit different, where it requires a minimum of, I believe it's 20% affordability. So it is, because it's really designed to be affordable multifamily housing along zoning districts. And so after this meeting, I can share my contact information.
Sure.
And if it's helpful,
Right.
it's sort of like share the zoning with you and sort of.
So is the higher density allowed?
It's the same density, 4 stories, I think.
No, not 4-story, like, we did it according to the MBTA.
Oh, yeah.
One, we were allowed 157, correct? We were
I think
allowed.
the 40 hours is a little denser than the MBTA.
It is, yeah, because
MBTA,
as soon as affordable
So
housing.
the zoning for 40R sort of takes Pond Street and a couple of other parcels, and sort of creates sub-districts. And so under Pond Street, this would fall under the multifamily zoning sub-district, and so you check the box there. It's up to 20 units per acre versus MBTA communities, which is around 15 units per acre. So
No, it's 20.
MBTA communities,
It's 20.
20.
I mean, Whitman might be zoned for 20, but the minimum standard, actually, it might be closer to the same.
So,
I think because this town-
anyway, that's for you. If it's approved by town meeting, it'd be May, so, timing may still kind of work.
Yeah, we can do an analysis.
Yeah, so if it's worth you waiting to see if the town's gonna approve it, then, that's something for you to consider.
Well, we can do our homework before that.
Yeah.
So then the town wouldn't mind 3 bedrooms. I know a lot of towns.
No, we don't want
because of
3
school-
bedrooms.
We don't want it in the school
want-
system. yeah.
But the 40R sometimes, I mean, it drives.
The 40-hour it's required for
Right,
40
required, yeah.
So right now.
But if we're not able to meet that 40R and make the 40R, get the 40R payment, then we don't want any 3 bedrooms.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. No, fair enough.
We might have differences of opinion on that.
But because it's in the zoning district, you would get those bonus density payments
Okay.
without them developing.
So it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
You get money this way.
Okay, were you?
I'm all set.
Okay. So these are modular. Are you building the big building in Brockton on, you're not, okay, 'cause that's modular too.
That's modular, yeah, we got our certification about a year and a half ago. We initially focused on some ADUs, a lot didn't exist when we started, so we've been focusing on ADUs. And we have 3, besides this project, 3 30-unit buildings that we're starting shortly in Worcester. And several other on the boards as well. So, but the modules are the modules, each town.
Well, this lot, I've been trying to look, this to me was the most underdeveloped, or let's just say the area of greatest opportunity to the town, but are underutilized, and I didn't think like it was ever going to get used. And so I was pleased to see those buildings, those existing buildings gone and something in its place. A little bit questioned the industrial area abutting this and heap and that sort of thing. Is that what people want to see when they turn off of Essex Street? But I would hope that that would mean everybody along the way cleans things up and makes it better.
Well, as already mentioned, if you take control of that street, we just line it with trees, just landscape.
So, but back to, I
But I
guess,
don't think T&K would like that.
no.
No.
How far do you own Pond Street?
There are markers on the street, on the,
Actually, on the property, there are markers, there's a yellow gate.
Okay, I know where the yellow gate is.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where,
So you own all the way down to the yellow gate?
yes.
Okay. You're not maintaining that road right now.
Right now, until we do something, yes, I'm not.
Touche.
Okay.
Do
I'll
you
just-
travel on that road?
I'll just go with just, as I was taking some notes, and some of these are things I've raised at, previous meeting on this. So obviously you gotta look at the MBTA thing, and just again, so you know, under the MBTA district zoning, you can build three stories by right, 4 stories by special permit, so this will be a special permit procedure, but, I think I've already expressed my view on having primary entrance to Industrial Way and let the other one be more emergency access. How do you, what's the process of transporting and building these units? You have a factory like in Worcester or what?
We have one in Leominster,
Okay.
the micro factory,
So each of these units would have to be brought in on a truck,
on a trailer, right?
on a trailer? Are they like wide load then, or what's the?
No, they're 11 so they're wide load, but they're, the way it works is if it's less than 12 feet, it's sort of normal permitting. It's not heavy. You can go 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so we can move them at 2 in the morning, right? If it's 12 to 13.6, for every module or every trailer, I would need a chase car. And I can only do sunrise to sunset, can't do weekends, holidays. If it's 13.6 to 15 or 15.6, I need a police car and 2 chase cars for every trailer. So you can see how all of a sudden it's like exponentially more expensive. So by us doing that and by doing those modules, they could be 28, they could be 30, they could be 24. The length doesn't really matter because it's a 30-foot trailer. But if you look at, like if you see the modular you're seeing where they're like 50 feet long, when they pick them up, they're like a hot dog, they want to deflect a little. So that means they can't finish the plumbing, they can't finish the flooring, they can't do a lot of things. So you'll have waited 10 months for those modules and you still have to bring all the trades in. We have a real problem with the trades now, not only aging out, but now with immigration and things like that. So what this does, this allows us, because we plywood the box completely on all 4 sides, whether it's an inside box or not. So it's a very, very stiff core. So it's basically its own structural system, every one. And we just stack them like Legos. We have a male and a female. They always sit right into each other and lock in. So it's a very robust module, but it allows us to finish it to the road.
So, thinking if questions will probably be raised about, the traffic, construction period, traffic and so forth. So, you have the traffic of bringing in these units. On the other hand, you're not bringing in all the materials that you would need if you were constructing the units on site.
Or the trade. So what we do is, we don't start, well, in this process a little different, but on a normal, let's say a 30-unit building, we don't start constructing until we pour the footings.
Yeah, so you still have to do a foundation.
You still have to do, the site work is site work.
Yeah.
But what we do is we compress the schedule from 18 months to 6 months. Because the modules, if you think about all the activities that happen after a foundation's in place, we're basically doing in the time frame of the foundation being put in, because the boxes are finished. So that when they're delivered to the site and stacked, the task we have left to do is finish painting inside the boxes, because it saves days in the factory, right? Doing the siding on the outside, doing the hallways on the inside, and finishing the plumbing and the site work. So those are all activities that don't rely on each other, which means they can happen concurrently. So if I can pick my boxes, let's say in 6 weeks, right, when the foundation's poured and set, and then I have my boxes ready and I sit and I pick them, and I have 2 or 3 months of work to do. By the 5th or 6th month, you're taking clients in versus 18 months. And you don't have a construction fence which fell down after 9 months and it's on the sidewalk and people are complaining. So there's these kinds of benefits. there's a hidden benefit to an owner because they're not paying a construction loan for 18 months.
Right.
You know, they're generating revenue instead of shelling it out.
How many boxes? Is each unit its own box?
Two bedroom would be three modules.
3 boxes.
So we have a studio, which is one module, a studio plus, which we do for veterans and seniors, which is like a module and a half, but the mirror image of it makes it 3 modules. And that's 468 square feet. 2 modules is 624, that's 1 bedroom. 2 bedroom is 936. 3 bedroom would be add 312 to that.
So, another issue for you to consider is noise, not from the development, but first of all, from the industries. I know I've walked along Hobart Pond on the other side at, 5:30 on a summer morning, and the businesses across the way are clanging, metallic clanging and so forth. So.
Well, we had an advantage, we use triple glazed windows.
Okay.
Like a 0.21 for U value, which is very good. We insulate every wall, whether it's an inside wall or not. So the inside walls between the units, if you think about it, it's an insulated wall against an insulated wall between the bedroom and the living room. You play your drums, right here. And it's a sound attenuation batt. The outside walls are the 6-inch batts with 2 inches of insulation on the outside. And we also have the advantage of being able to make these things. My goal is to heat them with a candle, right? Because as we build them, when we frame the walls and put the plywood on, we can walk around and we can seal everything because it's at an ergonomic height. We can seal every place where material hits material. So we get a very good HERS rating out of this and infiltration.
And then
basically just doing very little work.
The other noise issue is from the crane.
Yeah.
Because they blow their whistles. So I don't know if you've done it yet, but you'd want to go out there with, decibel meter, whatever you call the equipment.
Yeah.
They
actually blow the whistle as they approach?
I think particularly as they're approaching the Whitman station, they're blowing their whistles probably right alongside their property. So you'd want to measure that and just be aware of how much of an issue that is. For
Yeah, they have to blow the whistle when they're approaching major throughways.
Yeah. I think it's probably less of an issue when it's going northbound, leaving the station. Yeah. But certainly coming.
Well, I live next to Brandeis University and Brandeis Station. They didn't blow the whistle until the city didn't put in the little curbs that were supposed to be put in, separating the lanes. So then they started blowing the whistle every time they came by and just held it for like 15 seconds. So
I live on Rainer Ave and we call it Dad's Chimes. And
Dad's
they blow it at Essex Street. But they make those, what are those sound walls? You see them along the highway too.
Sound barriers.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe that's something.
Yeah.
Those good plans.
Yeah, I mean, I can certainly put a decimeter on it and see, and
see how,
we'll see what the windows will do.
Yeah.
There's one on Park Street in Abington when you're going left towards Island Road.
Yeah, one of those walls on Island Grove Pond.
Yeah, you could do it with vegetation too.
Vegetation.
And then as far as Hobart Pond goes, I mean, I think it'd be great to talk to the town, work with the town and with the Conservation Commission about, improving the trail, making sure there is a usable trail totally around the pond to be an amenity for the people in your development. But
Is there a master plan that's been developed?
The land where the trail is.
For the town?
Well, for all the ponds and the parklands and things like that.
There's an open space plan that's in the process.
who owns the land? Does the town own a route around the pond?
Yeah, conservation has an easement around the pond.
An easement, okay. So that's something to work together on.
And there's an existing trail already.
There is.
Right.
Yeah, so you can take a walk through this.
But, you could be adding benches or something.
Right, we would be.
Oh, yeah.
So-
Would be adding.
So,
Got lights.
yeah, so, I think there's an opportunity to work with the town on that.
I think they really look attractive from Essex Street. As you're coming up, you look across the pond. Because you look at the other side, it's very attractive, right?
Yeah. The side on your property, I don't know how many people even try to walk on that.
It's more kids who come to break all our,
Okay, that's,
a lot.
I mean, that's the feedback I give you. Obviously, parking's, going to be an issue, and, How many units were you proposing on that previous plan that you had?
That was 230.
And how many stories was that going to be?
I think that was also 4.
Is that only 4? How are you squeezing in that many units?
I think they were putting, I think they were probably going into the environmental.
Yeah, there were smaller units.
That particular plan had one bedroom.
Right.
Okay.
It had one
Okay.
bedroom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and if parking's an issue, again, I think the MBTA community district has the parking based on spaces per unit, so it wouldn't save you anything to have 1-bedroom units as opposed to 2. Our town bylaw, the regular zoning bylaw, bases it on parking spaces per bedroom. But
Well, we haven't shown any compact spaces, so that would be one way to pick up.
well, I'll tell you right now, we're not keen on that.
Are you not?
No, we want, our bylaw requires 8 by 10, or 8 by 20. Let's see. 10 by 20. 10 by 20.
10 by 20 with 24-foot backing?
Yeah, because people are not driving compact cars. Yeah.
That's pretty generous, 10 by 20.
Yeah, so
If you miss that one, you shouldn't be driving.
We've had people, proposing 9-foot wide and even 8-foot wide, and we say no. We'd rather be talking about, do you really need as many parking spaces as you have, than to allow you to have undersized parking spaces. It just isn't good.
And the other big thing about the modular is it's less of a fire hazard when you build it.
Yeah. No, it is. Well, it comes, windows are in, everything's in.
Oh, yeah, no, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
when you build stick and you're up 4 stories.
But it's still all, the building is sprinkled and everything.
Yeah, fully sprinkled. It's a much more robust construction. Like I said, every block is basically a shear core. You stack them up and you get a very, very stiff. And they're all locked together with these male and females, so they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're physically attractive, which, I mean, to me, the important, again, the great thing about your location is that you could have an ugly building there and it wouldn't matter to most people because there's no residents. But I like the fact that you have a variation on the wall, indentations and so forth. I think that's important. And if you, with that many units, even though the number of children may be limited, you should be, thinking about, is there a play area on here? Is there room for that? And again, what amenities there would be for the residents?
Yeah, we're looking at like theaters, like small theaters, viewing rooms, touchdown spaces if you want to get out of your apartment and go work places, a couple of fitness rooms. So there's space in that center core to do all that. And outside, we haven't even touched the outside yet as far as if you have a play structure or something like that.
The dog parks.
Dog park, yeah.
As to, along the pond would be good.
From when we had the previous discussion, so it wasn't with the board, we were basically, I think, favorable to it.
Correct, yes.
Just, you had environmental issues, you had all kinds of other issues to deal with.
Because we were going the whole, 230.
Yeah.
And then we decided, okay, it's easier to go lesser than.
Yeah, and now we have a zoning bylaw that fits. We were talking about a 40B at that time because that was the only way to do it.
Right. At that time, and then MBTA has come.
Yeah. So.
Well, I appreciate, and we take all this as friendly banter, right?
Yeah.
So, we'll do our homework on the
40R
and kind of come up with a plus and minus. Right.
What does the?
And again, we want fully. We would need engineered plan showing drainage and.
Right. That's our next.
Yeah, but that's.
Drainage is through Brockton and the sewer and water.
Yeah, I'll talk about the on-site drainage. Yeah, that's
the.
In terms of sewer and water, you'd want to talk to the DPW about I don't know what the size of the lines in this area, what might be involved in that, and.
Yeah, our next step is to bring mechanical in and size all the piping.
MBTA has a whole infrastructure funding for the towns to increase so that the MBTA housing, they do understand that the MBTA housing will, force the infrastructure to, and so
Yeah, we
we
have-
have funds for that.
Yeah, and we have, limits on this amount of sewage to send to Brockton and all, and I don't know if any of that is an inhibition to this, but anyway, yeah, certainly talking to the DPW would be, another step, as well as, again, when you have fully developed plans, I encourage a informal meeting with the Concom. I mean, normally people come to the ZBA for approval before going to the Conservation Commission, because if in the course of the ZBA hearing you have to modify the plan significantly,
Right.
there's no point in having gone to the Concom
Is
first.
there like an IRT meeting with police and fire, and some towns do it, they get everybody in the same room? And
We don't have a town plan here, we don't have a planning department, so.
So we would talk to the fire.
Nobody will organize it, you can, just.
Whether you,
I mean, I think-
you doing here, conceptual?
Yeah.
Yes,
Just have that
I
conversation.
mean, I think if you work through the building commissioner, I don't know if you've talked to, he couldn't be here tonight,
Yeah, we'll talk.
but, yeah, I think he could pull in some of those people for
And
you.
it's very valuable, to see, like we need to know what size truck the town uses for the turning radiuses, things like that.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
Yeah, they just save time, so it's not
Yeah.
an issue when we have a public hearing. Yeah.
What, is this like 50/50 that this is gonna actually get done? Or
Not
this is,
50, 100%.
this is, okay, so this is,
I cannot
you,
carry on with that building being empty.
oh,
And this is
I'm glad to
financially
hear that.
feasible for you, and
I've seen a lot of projects, and I haven't
No,
seen a
because
lot of them
earlier we were
actually.
doing the two, and then parking was an issue that time also.
So you really want, this is gonna get done.
That's why we made it smaller, so that it's easier to, get this done.
And I don't think the site is overbuilt. I think it's done. I know that the distance between the buildings is still a little there, but you're not going to feel like you're downtown Boston.
yeah,
It's like a small community, really.
but it sort of reminds me of like Southfield and South Weymouth. That kind of development. Yeah.
Well, thank
But
you very much.
you're only not even a mile from the park by bicycle or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, half a mile most.
Yeah.
All right.
Our biggest problem is going to be, if we are going to use the industrial way, is going to be P&K.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you still gotta nail down, I mean, I'm sure your parcel has the right to use industrial way, because when
Yes.
you lay out a road like that and you subdivide, every parcel has the right to use the road.
Correct.
I'm sure it's in your deed, but could be a question about whether there's something in the, you would know, I'm sure you've looked at your deed.
No, I have looked at it.
Is there anything in there restricting the use of your property?
No,
Well, how long have you owned the property?
now almost 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years. Who maintains, if you had a pothole, who pays for it? Who fixes it? Oh, TK.
So I'll tell you what's happened. So for a while, they've been using my, for their parking because they have a lot more employees.
Sure.
So, but suddenly I think they had a brainwave and they last year tried to say, okay, we're going to charge you for cleaning. And I'm like, how are you charging me? So they sent me a lawyer's letter and then they disappeared. They never asked for it. I just said, how is this? Because I was doing research on industrial way to figure out. In fact, I've called the actual owner's kids. And I think one person is still alive, their wife is still alive. But she's not in the state to do anything.
But Jason, isn't there a list of public ways for each
It's not a
town?
public way.
It is not.
It's not a public way.
It is not a public.
No, it's not.
Pond
It's a
Street,
private road. No. Industrial way.
Industrial
right,
way.
but is Pond Street a public road?
Yes,
Even though
Yes,
it's
yes.
narrow.
Yes.
but that is a public road.
Just
to where you
to
walk.
your gate.
To your
Yeah,
gate.
But it's only one lane.
It's,
lane and a
That
half.
is all one lane.
Yeah, it is, that is a public road. But I don't see anybody plowing it or anything.
Well, one of my issues, or was a question when we were talking about MBTA and things, was what's it gonna cost the town to upgrade Pond Street? Because the town might be required to do that. Because the town is in
But
charge
you know,
of water and
where
gas.
Hatfield is, you really can't expand it.
But I think it came up when we had that conversation with the other officials that the town does own land between Pond Street and the railroad tracks. So if
I don't
it
think the
could be,
town owns, I think
The
there
missing,
would, that missing person where it got burnt and it's contaminated,
Right.
that person owns.
but yeah, certainly, if you were to propose, to propose Pond Street being the main entrance to your property, there'd be a lot of questions raised at a public hearing. Because the narrowness, the intersection with South Ave,
Yeah.
it's just,
So
and
Hatfield,
the fact you've got that intersection so close to the train tracks,
Yeah.
you put a traffic light in there, you got
we
like,
did have a discussion on that too.
yeah,
In the last meeting,
yeah.
we did have a discussion on the traffic light thing.
Yeah, so it's just a whole lot simpler, if even unattractive as it may be, whatever. I think it's easy to get out through industrial way.
But
And
you still-
there was even a question to me of
Yeah, we can put, that's why I'm very keen to see if that land, which is basically abandoned, if I could, on the tax lien, take it and do a deal with the environmental thing that, I'll keep it with, basically, just, even, it's not been encapsulated, so at least if I encapsulate the contamination stays.
okay. I want to wrap this. John, did you have any questions? Okay, okay. Let's wrap it up. Now it's 9 o'clock.
Thank you.
And just for
Okay.
clarification, Don, you are,
I live in Whitman.
okay, are you part of the town or?
She's active. former
Well,
school
if you
committee.
live in Whitman, I'm running for the select board, so.
Oh, are you?
I'm here I'm interested in 66 Pond Street. It's a lovely opportunity for you, and thank you.
According to this record, the town owns property between Pond Street and the railroad track.
That's what I thought.
There's also a piece of property described as 384 South Ave, which is the west side of the railroad tracks in Pond Street. That corner there where there's like a foundation, that's owned by a person in Kingston.
We did contact them.
Okay.
Tobin and Malone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They, the person first responded and then said, I'm too busy, somebody's sick. And then every time we called after that, zero response. Because then they picked up the phone and they thought, oh my God, somebody's probably, because of the contamination. So they decided not to
Do you
answer anything.
do you guys have an attorney as part of your team?
I do have an attorney.
Okay, I mean, I think you ought to be doing that.
But I would prefer somebody else here, so if you
Oh,
guys
no,
could
no, but
suggest-
I'm just saying, I think there's just some of these legal issues.
That could sideline the whole deal.
Then I know, but that's why I want somebody local
Yeah.
Yeah,
who has more, because my attorney is from Framingham, who
Yeah.
doesn't have much touch.
Is there
okay.
anybody that comes in front of the board on a regular basis that,
Attorney, no.
No, don't.
what do you have, any
I'm thinking Sean Riley.
local board member?
Sean Riley,
Local
Yeah,
lawyer?
Sean Riley, who's in Abington, I don't know if he's still the town moderator in Abington, he was for a number of
Yeah.
years.
Sean,
Sean
Only-
Riley, R-E-I-L,
REILOY.
Yeah,
and he's from where?
Abington,
Abington?
yeah.
Mr. Reagan, he's not available.
No.
It's intense.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure, Jack, thank you.
Okay, let me move on as quick as I can.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
My name's Jason.
A couple of things quickly. Let me just take care of the minutes, we can get those done. Let's see, we've got,
Excuse me, gentlemen, could you leave the room?
yeah, can you just step outside because we're going to do some other. We have the minutes for case number 18, which was 356 South Ave. This goes back to December. This was for the tattoo shop. So let's see. Myself, Dick Laws, Bob Kimball. I guess we're the three who are here for that one.
Where the hell? Dumpster. Police, move to approve.
Okay, move for Laws, second.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, so voting on that, Carol, is Bob Kimball, Dick Laws, and John Goldrosen. Then we have the general minutes for December 12th.
So moved.
Okay, let's see. So that would be, well, Ed and Tim were here for that one. So let's say everybody except Bob Keegan can vote on that one. So who's made the motion?
I made a motion.
Motion by Bob Kimball, second by Ed Winnett. All in favor? Aye. 5-0 on that one. And then we have the meeting of February 2nd, which was where we discussed the zoning bylaw amendments. Just about everybody was here for that one, so we'll let everybody vote on it. How's that?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Kimball. Who made the motion? I'm sorry, Mr. Winnett, second. Mr. Kimball, second.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
fine.
All in favor? Okay, so Kimball, Winnett, Travers, Keeman, Laws, and myself, John Goldrosen. The other things I wanted to bring up just to up to date on the zoning bylaw amendments, so I submitted the two that we voted on, the ADU amendments and the special permit extension to the Board of Selectmen in the meeting on March 10th. And I expect them to refer those to the planning board for a public hearing at that meeting.
Did you submit for a warrant article on those?
Yes, I put it in the form of a warrant article.
Okay.
They
closed the warrant already.
Yeah, they had placeholders for those, or they have it already in there. And then, based on Ed Winnett's comments at that meeting, I prepared an amendment. I don't know if I sent it out. This is an amendment to section 7.2 site plan approval. So it basically adds a new subsection to the list of required items for the plan on the site plans, and it would require subsection D5W would be the item would be wetlands located on the site in the 50-foot and 100-foot buffer zones to such wetlands. So we didn't take a vote on that night because it was just suggested by Ed. So any discussion on that, or Ed mentioned that there might be some issue with the wetlands bylaw and how it's phrased there, but let's get it to the selectmen and to the planning board, and we can go from there if it needs to be some change to it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think we move forward with it.
Okay, motion by Mr. Flaws.
Second, Mr. Kimball.
Second, Mr. Kimball. I guess I'll just have the regular members of the board, full members of the board vote on that. So the 4-0, Mr. Kimball, Mr. Keeman, Mr. Laws, and John Goldrosen. It was also suggested at that time coming up with an amendment on the retreat lot provision, and I just decided it was going to be
too much.
It'd be work, and as I talked to Kathy Keith, and they're concerned about the length of the warrant. So, and I even offered, I said, well, the only thing that really has to go on this warrant is the ADU bylaw. We could live with postponing the others, but she said, no, that's okay. So I just decided, let that one wait. So I didn't do anything on that one.
Well, it'll be on the very end of the warrant. People we want to go home. So once you explain everything, it's just going to fly through it.
Well, we'll see. And then I assume the 40R will be on there, which, again, we haven't taken a formal position because, frankly, without it being in front of us, I just haven't felt what to do about it.
That is disheartening a bit to learn that
We're not going to get as much money as we thought.
That's a good thing.
3,000.
That was a big motivation. And honestly, Bob, Kimball, Jason was sending all these emails about it, and I was like overwhelming to me. So I got like 6 emails from Jason. Never looked at it. I shouldn't have that on the minutes, right? But Bob, you made sure that the Franklin Street
Franklin
property.
Street is on the map, yeah.
Yeah. See, do you know about that?
No.
The
185 Franklin Street.
where the cell tower is, and it's an industrial site. They were talking about doing a 40B there. We had, again, an informal discussion, and we said, look, and it's not in the MBTA district because we just didn't think about it at the time, but we told them we'd try to get it into the 40R district so that they'd have that option. So Bob made sure it got into the 40R district. We'll see where that goes.
And that's 87 townhouses. 85 or 87.
At least.
It was approved.
Leonard King's property. Leonard King's,
It was approved for 2 commercial condos.
Yeah.
About a year ago,
And we weren't, necessarily opposed to being a 40B either. Again, it's set back and so forth. But at least if 40R comes along, it'd be more beneficial to the town, probably.
Is that actually moving forward because they never came to the conservation commission?
Yeah, I don't know where that stands. They were all hot. They came to us because they wanted to submit the site eligibility letter to the state, which is the first step in it.
They did do
And
that.
they were talking about, well, we'd be willing to wait a few. They were figuring on being back before the ZBA by April. And I haven't done anything, so I don't know.
I mean, and they're building in the 100-foot section, 100-foot buffer.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why they should have come to the conservation.
building in the fall zone too.
Yeah, there were issues there with the fall zone from the sun. So anyway, we did have a preliminary discussion again. Okay, so we have, our next meeting is March 23rd. We have 2 cases on the agenda for that hearing. At this point, I don't think we have any more for that meeting. One is our first ADU, 74 Alden Street. And the second is 127 Warren, the daycare center, what was Mary Dent, but it's now different ownership. They want to put an accessory building behind the building to sort of have an enclosed play area. So that's on the agenda for that meeting. Those are the 2 that we have. All right?
Good.
So that concludes all our business. It's 9:15, and I will declare the meeting adjourned.